Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 59th episode of PandTha
Why does that
Talks.
sound horrifically wrong, but at the same time very right?
I have no idea. Go away. Yeah, 59.
I did not like that.
No, that's the intro. It keeps screaming at me every time I open it up. Yeah, so 59 episodes so far. Dun dun dun.
Going strong.
Yeah, we're still doing pretty well. We actually have less news this week, which feels a bit weird, but it happens. There's not always something interesting to talk about, but we do try to find things. For example, this week we have information to go over regarding Helldivers 2, as every week recently, because that game just doesn't seem to know how to slow down.
Hey, that's how you do it.
Exactly, fine with me. Then we'll be going on to information regarding Steam players hit record high as PC gaming starts to leave consoles behind.
Wait,
Which I
wait,
think,
wait, 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 hang on, how? Starts?
yeah, I know, right? After that, we will be discussing a game that has had a leaked trailer about it, but is no longer going to be in creation because it was cancelled, which was a multiplayer Spider Man game called The Great Web, which was supposed to be based in the Spider Verse. So you'd spend time in each Spider Man's timeline and, universe, which sounds absolutely amazing, but sadly will never come to fruition. After that, Rise of the Ronin shows the trouble with our expectations. You can't complain about the lack of AAAs and then come about Rise of Ronin having wonky animations, apparently,
The
according to this article.
pictures below, the one on the right, why does that look like the picture from Scooby Doo intro?
That's a very fair question.
I think it might be.
It's possible.
Hang on, I need to find this out.
And the final one, while we leave Will to go over and find this one out, Tim Sweeny emailed Gabe Newel calling Valve "you assholes" over Steam policies, to which Valve's COO replied internally, "You mad, bro." And honestly, this does not surprise me in the fucking slightest. And the final topic, something is currently on in Steam, and we will be discussing that as well. Have you managed to find it, Will, before we jump over to the
There-
actual articles?
There's a lot of things that look like it, like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's a half decent looking one.
Yeah, it's close, but no cigar, sadly. Wait,
It
that's
looks very close.
Return to Zombie Island, isn't it?
I don't know. This is stuff that came up in Google Images, man.
Okay. Right then.
Here's another one.
Okay. Well,
Actually, I think
look.
it's just a zoomed in part. It is.
Oh,
No, it's
okay.
not. No,
Oh.
no, it's not.
He's a bit slow. Don't worry about
You shush.
it. Yeah, it's definitely different.
Yes, I gathered that. Thanks.
Well done.
Fuck you.
Right. Let's move over, shall we? So, we'll start off with Helldivers, as we've done so for the past multiple weeks.
Yes, you've been sinking plenty of hours into this game.
Oh, haven't I just? What is my hour count actually so far? 63.3 hours.
Not too shabby, sir.
No, I'm level 22, nearly 23. I just hit the final tier in difficulty, so level 7, 8, and 9 in difficulty rating. They are a bitch to do with only 2 people, by the way. Not recommended at all.
No, we're
But
always twinkling.
yeah. Well, it's not like I've got you to assist me, is it?
Would I honestly, right?
Mm,
Serious question.
mm.
Would I be an assistance or just a hindrance? Think about that.
Both, but that's why this game makes me laugh so much.
So it started off all grand, we've killed a few enemies, we've progressed in the mission slightly, and then all of a sudden you get like a fucking boulder to the head because I blew something up just for memes and it went your direction.
See, that's kind of what happened to a friend of mine the other day. He was running towards an objective. Next thing, I saw a hell bomb next to him that was basically damaged, so it couldn't go off via the console. He was right next to it. I was quite a distance away, and so was our other friend. I shot it. He's now just a red mist.
Did his limbs do a bit of traveling?
His everything did. Um, I kind of pissed myself laughing because all he shouted was, "What the fuck was that?" And yeah, I was howling of laughter, and I had to give him a free kill later that day. So, not a fun time. He was very upset about his death. But anyways, Helldivers 2 is the friendliest shooter in gaming as Dev tries to defuse console wars. Now, I don't know if you've seen this, Will, but during Helldivers 2 coming out, there has
Mhm.
been so many PlayStation gamers requesting the reinforcements, which everyone has agreed the reinforcements are the Xbox players.
Yeah.
So there has genuinely been a time. I think this is the first game I've ever seen this happen to as well, where every community is trying to work together to play. And that to me is mental. You don't see it.
No. Maybe this is the start where they realize playing games together instead of against each other is far more enjoyable.
Exactly. And it's the
Because co-op
community.
games are so much more enjoyable.
Exactly. Now, there is something else that's been coming out about the game because they added a new premium pass recently. Now, a lot of people are trying to claim, oh, this is pay to win. The only issue with that argument is pay to win only works as an argument in PvP elements. This game has no PvP. Anything that a player gets as a benefit is just going to benefit the players he is playing with because it's shared XP.
Yeah.
So I don't really see how you can argue pay to win in that regard. Plus, at the same time, you can unlock it by just putting effort into the game and putting time in. So,
Yeah. It's not like paying the money to get these items quicker. It's going to help them, as you said, it's not going to help them progress faster than the other players because it's shared XP.
exactly. So, you're still going to get equal, really. It's just they might get a weapon that can help them more in the earlier game where you might get it a bit later on. But you're still going to get the shields and stuff, and you've got just as much to spend. So,
Eventually, you'll get everything anyway,
yeah,
which is how games should be done.
exactly. I fully agree.
We're not talking about how mobile games do it, where they're like, yeah, you can get everything legit, or you
Yeah,
can pay just to boost yourself a little bit. As in, yeah, this is going to take 30 days to upgrade.
yeah,
Do you want to wait those 30 days because you can get it for free because we're totally free to play a game, or do you want to give me a fiver to build to speed it up?
exactly. So, the director behind Helldivers 2 has called for more compassion in the face of gamers who are still fanning the flames of the console wars. Friendly fire might always be on in Helldivers 2, but developer Arrowhead has no time for anyone trying to cause fights between fellow shooters. Arrowhead CEO, you know, the guy that I keep bringing up every week. Honestly, I respect the guy so much for his stances on stuff like this. Took to Twitter to respond to an account that compared Helldivers 2 to Halo on Sunday, March 3rd, where he basically asked, "What's the point? Why compare?" He wrote in response to an image that said Helldivers 2 was better than Halo. Just like gamers love and enjoy both, either or neither. We need more compassion and union in the world and less rivalry. When it was suggested that friendly rivalry could be a great thing by another user, he replied, "Indeed, also in business, neither monopoly or cutthroat competition makes the world a better place." I have like the utmost respect for this bloke. He seems to like have got some similar understanding to how you and me feel about gaming lately, and I respect him for it.
Hmm.
If you thought this might be the chance for personal growth through your optimism has been misplaced. You are awesome, pals. The original poster wrote in response, but Halo still got decimated by Helldivers. Ah, what a dick. Earlier this month, the CEO
Like,
said, "Go on, sorry."
you can't compare these two games.
No, you can't. One's a
They're
single
right.
player game, well, single player slash co-op story game.
It's, it's not even that. Look at the time these two games came out. They're completely different generations.
Oh yeah,
Like
long
we
time
played
ago.
Halo when we were growing up,
Yeah.
like really young growing up.
All right, don't remind me. I'm
And
a quarter of a century. Okay,
oh, Diddums, I'm older than you.
only by 2 months.
Don't care, I'm still older.
Get over it.
You're the one who needs to get over it.
Ouch.
But Halo, if you look at the last Halo game that came out, it's how many years ago?
I think it's like 2 years back now.
They're still releasing Halos.
Yeah,
They are?
yeah.
I genuinely had no clue.
Impressive. Yeah, here you go. 2021, 3 years ago. Halo
They're,
Wars 2 came out in 2017.
were
Five
they any
Guardians
good?
2015. It's 50-50. Some people really love it, some people really don't like it.
Well, I'm thinking back to like the originals. So I'm looking like Halo 4 and before.
Halo 4, Reach, ODST, Halo Wars 3, 2,
Yeah.
and Combat Evolved.
Yeah. That's the Halo that I know.
Do you know
I
the
didn't
only
even
one I
know.
played when I started?
Hmm. I played Reach and 4, I'm pretty sure.
Reach
Mostly.
was not a good standing to walk into. But the
uh,
Master Chief collection is currently on Steam for like
I
£8.
have it. I have it already.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But anyways, you were saying.
But from the Halos that I know, it's such a different generation of games
Yeah,
compared to Helldivers now.
100%. I mean, don't get me wrong, Helldivers 2 is an absolutely amazing game. One that I have thoroughly enjoyed putting every minute I've put into it. And even though it's challenging, because you're with other people, you're constantly there like, oh yeah, I can do this for hours. Last
Yeah.
night was the first night I had to take time off. I took time off by going onto VR chat and just consulting people. So take that as you will.
Now, Roy, behave yourself.
It's good fun. Tell me I'm wrong. Earlier this month, the CEO said the team has no interest in adding PvP mode to the co-op shooter because it wants to reduce toxic elements from the community. We
I
want
mean, that
an
is like the number one cause of toxicity in games, is because
oh
it's a
yeah,
PvP game.
100%. We want an environment that's supportive, fun, and where are fighting on the same side. He added. We want make games for people that just want to have a challenging time with friends, but in a PvE setting. If you want PvP, I recommend Escape from Tarkov.
God no.
Yeah, you recommend the bugfest that is Rust, don't you?
So I've barely touched it, man. In the last 4 weeks, I played a day and a bit of it, and that's because Eve had to go home early, and I was like, sure.
That's fair. That is very fair. Helldivers 2 launched on PlayStation and PC earlier this month and has become one of the most successful games of the year. Its success is notable as it marks Sony's first exclusive to have a simultaneous launch on PC, which will likely lead to more PlayStation exclusives arriving on the platform in the future, even though Arrowhead are not a first party studio, which I find to be the funniest part. So, let's cover this, shall we? Steam players hit record highs, PC gaming starts to leave consoles behind. Here we go. This
I
is
don't
going to
know,
be a
man. I feel
mess.
you're looking forward to this.
You'd think so, but I'm actually not. We just went over the fact of exclusivity and everything else, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, play consoles if you want to play consoles. Just understand, in my opinion, all games should be on all platforms. Allow everyone a fair shout and a fair fight. And at the end of the day, why shouldn't we be able to play games wherever we feel comfortable playing them?
Yeah.
Simple as that.
It's like if some games, you're gonna have to just not do crossplay
Yeah,
because there's gonna be certain mechanics in the game that like is gonna be a million times easier to do on one of the platforms.
yeah,
It's just like you're gonna have an advantage on console if you're in a driving game because if you're using just a mouse and keyboard in a driving game, you have very little control.
yeah.
Whereas
Plus,
in console, you can move it millimeter by millimeter, but
yeah,
then you could kind of say the same thing about other style of games. Like for me, I would be able to play a platformer on PC a million times easier than on console.
yeah. I mean, I don't like bringing up shooters in these arguments because, let's be honest, we all know about controller aim accuracy and
Yeah.
how the controllers just have inbuilt aim assist. We all know this. It's common news.
Same
So,
time though, like if you're hard in the FPS games on PC, it's not really an issue. I
no,
certainly don't have an issue with it.
no, I fully agree. There's not much of a challenge, to be honest. So,
But that's the thing though. Like for FPSs, I don't play them for a challenge. I play them for fun. If I
same.
want a challenge, I'll go and play like a strategy game or a puzzle game.
Yeah.
Try and solve shit.
Oh, bonding
FPS
ambivalence.
is yeah, that was fun. But FPSs for me are just more fun. I don't care about fucking constantly fighting each other.
No, exactly.
That's why I really love it when we find first person co-op games.
Yeah, they're fucking amazing. It's just finding them, which is the
Yeah,
challenge.
and
I
if they
mean,
have guns, it's even better.
yeah. I mean, I'm really bloody happy that Helldivers came out personally for me because it was like a major thing. There's finally a co op game that brings back the enjoyment I used to have of playing shooters with friends. And it's insanity. The amount of times I go through my grenade launcher's free mags in about 40 seconds is insane.
Hmm.
Mainly because everything on the other end of it is dead afterwards, but still, it's fun. Following the success of Power World and Helldivers 2, Steam has managed to hit a new all-time high in concurrent players. While there's more competition than ever in regards to rival PC storefronts, Valve's Steam service is still managing to break player records. Between Palworld and Helldivers 2, this year's biggest hits so far have both been released day one on PC, which puts into perspective why Sony is prioritizing the platform more than ever for its exclusive games. I love how they're trying to bring up the fact that it's got so many different storefronts. Yeah, what you probably don't know if you don't use PC is the rest of them are god awful 9 out
Oh,
of 10 times.
oh yeah, they're
That
they're tough to even like look at.
yeah, that there's very few that are honestly enjoyable to use. And
We we've
Steam is
we've been
bloody
over
hell.
quite a few of them.
Yeah,
Like
we actually did an article about it, I think about 3, 4 weeks back.
yeah, there's some of them like you have a reason to go on to it, but other than that, you don't use it. So like Epic Games, for example, you go on, you grab the free game, which we are both still bewildered in how that works.
Yeah.
And then you've got Blizzard because they have select few titles on their store page. That's why I use it anyway.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Um, and then other than those two though, I don't think I touch any other launcher, and I only use Steam otherwise.
No, exactly. I'm fully with you. The success of these two titles, along with staples like Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, and Apex Legends, okay, has contributed. I don't know why that game's still brought up, honestly.
I know there's a new update coming out or just out or something because I saw an advertisement for it, but I
But like,
personally haven't played the game in I think a couple years.
yeah, but do you like hear any streamers or anyone like sitting down and playing it anywhere
There's
near as much?
there's one streamer that I know that plays Rust sometimes with Posty, and every now and then he'll go on it for whatever reason. But
Exactly.
yeah,
It's like died off, but for some reason, it's still one of them core games that gets mentioned.
it's just people. It's one of those games where people decided, oh, we gotta play every match like we're playing in $1 million tournament,
Oh yeah.
and it's not fun. Like the gameplay is, it's just that's the same thing with every competitive game these days. The gameplay is just so just I don't even know the word for it.
Mm.
It's the most boring thing I've ever done in my life.
Ah.
Is seeing the gameplay of people in competitive first-person shooters these days.
Yeah.
Nothing of it is fun anymore.
I still remember the old days, like Call of Duty competitive play, when they used to come up with some of the most creative tactics. Like they'd throw a nade, bounce it off like two walls, and land it in the spawn or something like that, and take out like three of the guys. And
Yeah,
you
that,
saw
that
stuff
shit
like
was
that,
nuts.
and like everyone cheered. They were so happy. Nowadays, it's like, oh yeah, I got a headshot while spinning. Cool,
It's literally
Dave.
just
Cool.
fling your mouse around as much as you can while spamming like pulling grenade, canceling the grenade pull, swapping weapon, and then just left clicking.
Yeah.
And you do that for hours and hours and hours until you finally get so lucky that you actually that shot. And it's like, wow.
Now I can add that to my trick shot video.
That four people watch,
Yeah,
or it'll just never get uploaded.
exactly. But no, that's genuinely how I feel about esports nowadays. Uh, believes that those games have contributed to the new all-time high concurrent player count on Steam. According to SteamDB, a record 34,649,583 players were simultaneously online on Sunday, March 3rd. Of those players, 11,146,564 users were actively playing a game. That's a lot of numbers.
Oh,
The concurrent player record previously reached an all time high 24 hours prior on Saturday, March 2nd, with 34.2 million players. Before that, the record was held by 33.6 million players in January of this year. The new record, however, isn't the highest peak for active players, with 11.5 million, would you go with that? All playing games at once back in January 2024. The most popular game on the platform is currently in Counter-Strike 2, which had over 1.4 million players over the past 24 hours. This is followed by Dota 2, PUBG Battlegrounds, Apex Legends, Nakara Bladepoint, Palworld, which unlike the others seems to be decreasing at a rapid rate, and Helldivers 2.
CS will always be the most popular because it's literally just it's not even a game anymore. It's a gambling machine.
Not
It's the
just
reason.
that,
It's obviously the reason people play it, in my opinion.
it's a free to play. It's a free to play that's got solid mechanics and has been developed by Valve themselves.
The thing is, though,
That, that
I feel
typically
like I
goes
never
well.
really see anything these days of like actual clips of CS:GO. It's all just people opening cases,
Yeah, to be
or
honest.
there, or there's another new bug or exploit being
Yep.
shown off. That's all I see now.
All of the above, my friend. All of the above. While Steam has always been one of the most popular platforms, the amount of players saw a notable increase at the start of the COVID pandemic, with the concurrent player count jumping by 4 million from February to March 2020, from 19.1 million to 23.6 million.
It's quite a jump.
It's insanity. So I thought, how do we follow this Steam article? Well, we follow it clearly by Epic CEO insulting Gabe Newel, which that's just a dumb idea. You do not go up against Steam very well.
I mean, how
Doesn't
can you
work.
go up against Steam? They're the biggest marketplace for PC games
Yeah, he doesn't like that, does he?
by a fucking long shot too.
Yeah,
Those statistics are all the proof of why too.
yeah. So we'll start by going into this properly, and we'll cover it fully. Valve is currently embroiled in a US antitrust lawsuit with Wolfire, a developer that alleges the Steam platform holder uses its position to unfairly crowd out rivals and control game prices. Valve tried to have the suit dismissed, but in May 2022, the court ruled it could go ahead with some changes and enter the discovery phase. The juiciest part of this legal process, where, among other things, plenty of internal correspondence from companies involved is made public. Among these documents are a couple of spicy exchanges between Epic CEO Tim Sweeny and Valve CEO Gabe Newel, COO Scott Lynch, and project manager Eric Johnson, first spotted by Simon Carlos at Games Discover Co. The context for
Simon
both,
Cowell, Rory.
yeah, I said Carlos. Both exchanges is currently, is broadly speaking, store pricing and specifically the commission that Valve takes on Steam sales, which are some of Sweeney's favourite topics. The first chain in 2017 is sparked specifically by a leak from comment from Steam's developer forum, in which Valve's Sean Jenkins mistakenly said Steam may start restricting the keys it gives to developers. Here we go. On August 12th, 2017. Yeah, it's ironic. On August 12th, 2017, Gabe Newell emails Tim Sweeney. Anything we doing to annoy you? We're guessing Sean Jenkins' public dumbness might be a part of it. Sweeny replies to Newell and Valve Eric Johnson saying he's not annoyed and I've never heard of Sean Jenkins. Poor Sean. Then Sweeny adjusts his flight goggles and gets ready for takeoff on this one, on one of his pet peeves. The 30% platform fee on Steam. There was a good case for such fees in the early days, writes Sweeny. But the scale is now high and operating costs have been driven down, while the churn of new game releases is so fast the brief marketing of or UA value of the storefront provides is far disproportionate to the fee. I always hate it when Sweeney gets talking because one part of it, he has points that are relatively okay, but how he acts, there's just no need for it. And he acts like a child who's just thrown his bloody rattle out the pram. I get so annoyed with him. Sweeney opines that if you were to strip away the top 25 selling games on Steam, I bet Valve made a profit from most of the next thousand than the developer themselves made.
What?
Basically, what he's trying to say is if you were to take off the top 25 selling games, after that, the next 1,000 games after, he bets that Steam and Valve made a higher profit than the developers did. The maths to get there is that 30% to Valve and 30% on marketing and 15% on servers/engine costs. The system takes 75% and that leaves 25% for actually creating the game. worse than the retail distribution economics of the 1990s. So that's the maths that he gets. Has anyone actually sat down to go over the maths though? Because
It does sound like a lot.
yeah, it's possible that he's right, but I'd like someone to actually double check it rather than us just go off what Sweeny says, especially considering he is getting his backing from Tencent and, well, they're to be trusted at arm's length all the time.
Hmm.
If either Valve employee replied to Sweeny, it's not in this disclosure, which might be why when we get to December 2018, Sweeney is even more in an even more ornery mood. At this time, Valve had introduced a royalty change that almost seems custom designed to get Sweeney frothing at the mouth. It reduced Valve's cut on the most successful games down to as low as 20%. Not only is Sweeney all about the little guy, but at this exact moment in time, he's gearing up for the launch of the Epic Game Store and the antitrust fight between Epic and Apple, still ongoing. Sweeney is emailing Gabe Newel and Scott Lynch and begins by outlining his problems with Apple, before telling them about the imminent launch of the Epic Game Store. This is a direct competitor to Steam, and credit where it's due, Epic puts its money where its mouth, Sweeney's mouth was, by launching with a flat 12% platform fee. Once again, though, I do need to just quickly reiterate Sweeney himself has said that this is currently unsustainable, and he has constant monetary backing from Tencent. That's why it's still going. Otherwise, I don't think it would be. To just be brutally honest. But hey, he can keep screaming. Sweeney wants Valve to respond to this, mainly because it'll strengthen Epic's hand against Apple, but he's clearly not had many lessons in the gentle art of persuasion. Exactly. Because this is what he wrote. Right now, you assholes are telling the world how that the strong and powerful get special terms, while 30% is for the little people. Right, Sweeney. We're all in for a prolonged battle if Apple tries to keep their monopoly, and 30% by cutting backroom deals with big publishers to keep them quiet. Why not give all developers a better deal? What better way is there to convince Apple quickly that their model is now totally untenable? The next day, Valve Scott Lynch simply sends an email to both Gabe Newell and Eric Johnson with one line commentary. You're mad, bro. It's a fair comment. I imagine that at that exact moment, Tim Sweeney probably was quite mad. It should also be noted that while some may see Lynch's response as rather flippant, it was of course never meant to be seen outside of Valve, and Sweeney has just emailed two senior Valve types and told them he's launching a direct competitor to their platform, criticised how Valve operates its store, ranted a bit about Apple, ranted a bit more about Apple, and then called them assholes. I mean, it's a bold move, Cotton. The Wolfire lawsuit is much wider than these emails, and Carlos does raise an interesting question of who exactly is funding the smaller company against Valve. Litigation has this on this scale is eye-wateringly expensive, and while Valve has large pockets, it's not clear where Warfire is getting the money from. It's currently asking the court to resolve this suit as a class action claim and has restated its core arguments about pricing, during which, amusingly enough, it backhands the Epic Game Store. Publishers have little incentive to offer games on Epic Game Store, and consumers have little incentive to use the platform. Way too true.
Spot on that.
Yeah. The suit honestly doesn't seem enormously coherent in what it claims about Valve, but with various different elements of how Steam works being conflated, and I'm not sure it's going to be going anywhere. But hey, not a lawyer. Still, thanks to this, we found out what happened behind closed doors when Epic was launching its big Steam competitor at Valve. They were laughing.
Hmm.
I mean, that is just what everyone expected, isn't it? Steam laughing at Tim Sweeney because he just rants a lot and
Seem
calls
laughing
people
at
assholes.
trying to do anything because it's not going to work.
Yeah. So, Spider Man, the Great Web. I'm really gutted that this game's not coming to fruition, you know. Because it sounds interesting. The annoying part is the trailer is no longer online, it's been taken down.
I mean, with the idea of it, with the way the Marvel universe works, and how we ended up with like multiple Spider-Mans being able to be in one universe, it's the perfect excuse to make a multiplayer Spider-Man game.
Yeah. But this one was going. Do you remember the animated Spider Man to the Spider Verse
Yeah, I
film?
never watched it because I didn't really
Okay.
want to.
Well, it's going off of that premise Spider Gwen,
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. And this is basically what I'll read through this now and we can discuss it. A trailer of Insomniac's cancelled live service game has appeared online, and it looks like the existing Spider Man games crossed with Spider Verse. When Spider Man developer Insomniac Games was hacked last year, there was no point in pretending it hadn't happened, but most sites were sympathetic enough to only report the basic details of the developer's upcoming lineup. Live service title Spider Man The Great Web was a bit different though, as it had already been cancelled before the hack took place, although it's unclear exactly why. It may be that Disney was asking for too big of a cut of the profits, but a leaked trailer showed for the game shows that it basically would have been the existing games, but with online co-op and lots of different Spider-Men and women. We can't show the trailer or images for legal reasons, but it's currently very easy to find online, perhaps because Sony isn't worried about people seeing it now that it's not coming out. They'd taken it down. I tried finding it. The trailer looks very impressive, but it seems to be using a lot of assets from the single player game, including the open world map of New York City. On top of that, on top of regular Peter Parker and Miles Morales Spider-Man, you can also see Ben Riley, Spider-Gwen, Spider-2099, Black Suit Spider-Man, Silk, Spider-Punk, and the last one we don't recognize. You can see a screenshot here, I think this is.
Why is it just like a
And
really
that's the
bad
Spider
Fortnite
Suits.
ripoff?
I know, right? Villains include Rhino, Doctor Octopus, Elektra, Sandman, Mysteria, Venom, Vulture, and Scorpion. Based on some based on the games, and some implied to be appearing in their original costumes. The supervillain group are the Sinister Six are also mentioned, although there's clearly more than six different bad guys in the trailer. Naturally, the multiverse is used as an excuse for all this, with one section appearing to be Spider-Man Noir world, and a weird-looking stage with what looks like child's drawings from the backdrop. That's all as you'd expect, given the success of Spider-Verse films. But it's odd to see five Spider people all ganging up on a bunch to fight a bunch of tracksuit wearing criminals, which seems like a massive overkill. Now, a lot of people have been saying about this as well that they find it a bit mad because it's as though Insomniac's kind of gone, well, who'd really want to play a Spider Man game with friends? Really? Really, Insomniac? Who'd want to do that? I think most people would.
Yeah, I would say that's more than likely.
Yeah. For that matter,
There's a lot of love around the Spider-Man games. I'm sure loads of people have wanted to be able to play it with friends.
oh, exactly. I'm definitely on that list. You know me well. My entire philosophy is make any game that you can make co-op. That way I can play it with idiots.
Yep.
Like this
Makes
idiot.
the makes the game makes makes the game 100 times more enjoyable.
It does, because we can just do stupid shit. Whenever I play a game with Will, the first thing he does is break it. He's laughing. I don't know whether he thinks I'm joking, but he knows as well as I do that is the facts.
You're usually like setting something up or doing something once we've loaded in. So I usually get about a minute or two to walk around wherever we spawn. And by the time Rory's ready to actually start, I'm in a wall or some shit.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that. This has happened so many times, and I actually deleted the footage from Arizona Sunshine to the recording that we did. I decided I'm
Hmm.
just not doing it, but there was
Yeah.
a bit of that where we did our first bit where Will realized I can throw myself while climbing, and he just kept throwing himself out the map. So I actually had two recordings of it because Will couldn't get out of this. So we had to quit out, I had to start, and I had to host it. And they did it again anyways, but yeah, it were a bit easier to sort that time. For that
Yeah,
matter,
you have a screenshot of what my hands looked like when I was falling into the infinite abyss. The game did not like
yeah,
what was happening.
it's a fun time. For that matter, 5 is a weird number for an online game. So it's possible one of the reasons the game was cancelled is just because it didn't work out with not enough for each player to do. Given everything else on their plate at the moment, there seems to be very little chance that the Great Web will be revived, and as impressive as that trailer looks, the actual game was probably nowhere near as complete as it implies. As far as we know from the hack, as much as from anything else, Insomniac isn't working on any other live service games at the moment, which makes them relatively unique amongst Sony's first party studios. Officially, their next game due is the Marvel's Wolverine, which is expected to be released next year unless the hack has forced Insomniac to make unplanned changes. So yeah, I think this might have been the screenshot of it, which actually looks pretty cool. As you can see, it's been taken down, which is annoying.
Don't want to imagine how many court cases are currently ongoing with that video then.
Yeah, but we can also see some of the screenshots here. Some of the combat between multiple spider things. Yeah, spider
Spiders.
things. Yeah, spiders. That's it. Yeah, you can see them fighting venom and stuff like that. It's quite clever. I quite like the idea of it though. I think that's actually pretty clever. Now I'm more
I mean, you're
disappointed in
just
Insomniac.
they're doing what you want them to do. They were taking a game that's single player and beloved and giving it an online option to be
Yeah,
co-op.
and that's
But
perfectly fine. The city looks the exact same, which is perfectly fine with us. Why wouldn't we want the same city? It was high quality, it was well designed. What's the problem? Anyways, let's put ourselves down, shall we? Because apparently we're very bad people. So let's see what this article by Stacey Henley says. Yes, I'm calling you out, Stacey, because this might be good, this might be bad. We'll see. You can't complain about the lack of AAA titles and then complain about Rise of Ronin having very wonky animations. Yes, yes, we can, because there may be a lack, but they should be this word here, AAA.
they've not been even close.
Oh, they have not. PlayStation recently posted a gameplay clip of Rise of the Ronin's traversal on its Twitter page, and with it highlighted a lot of problems with modern gaming. Obviously, there are quite a few problems we may need to be aware of at the present moment, But Rise of the Ronin points to something beyond the discourse and subcultures and the unchecked animosity and into our expectations for gaming itself. There is a simple question being asked. Does Rise of the Ronin look any good? The answer is kinda, but gaming doesn't deal with grey areas. Of course it doesn't, because typically it's either good or not good. It can have good points and bad points, but there is always an overall. You can have mixed even. That's fine. But you can't have a grey area. It doesn't typically work out very well. You will always play a game in its entirety, and you'll either think, I enjoyed it or I didn't enjoy it. Doesn't matter how mixed you felt on the game, you will have that thought when you think back to it. It's all personal. Yeah. You might have like a genuine, if you were sat to sit there and go, I like this, but I dislike this, you might have a perfect equal amount on both lists. It might look mixed, but you personally will have an opinion whether it was one way or the other for you. The clip in question looks a little janky and dated as the protagonist swings on ropes rather than watching every sinew of their body realistically tense as they relax as they climb up onto a ledge. They just pop over it, changing direction in midair. Some members of the gaming audience have been trained to the unassailable expectations, and they have decided Rise of the Ronin looks awful, laughable, unplayably bad, like a PS3 game. They're wrong about this last point, and exaggerating about the rest, but there is an undercurrent of truth. PS5 exclusives and many of PS4 exclusives look better than this. So, okay. So what you're saying is, if many PS5 exclusives and PS4 exclusives look better than this, saying that it looks like a PS3 game sounds accurate by your own admission. This
Fuck me.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, that's interesting.
I'm very confused.
I've never seen this before. This was 2 days ago. Okay. I think we're more than 2 days back. They deleted it, did they?
Look at my go.
I'd have been better going to Google, YouTube, but here we are. Do you think they put out the gameplay too early, and that's kind of what happened here? Oh, here we are. Mute that audio so we don't get into any trouble.
Hey, that looks cool, but the riding the horse at the start looked awful.
Yeah.
That guy was just gliding. What? He's shooting a 6-shooter, or what did we just watch?
I don't know. What?
I'm a little confused.
What the hell
This
are we watching?
gliding bit here looks awesome.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, I'm not sure what happened.
What?
He is. He's just shooting a 6-shooter.
What are we? What? What happened to the Ronin exactly?
He became an outlaw.
I muted you. Go away.
I'm not sure what this game is meant to be now.
Neither am I. Oh, is this the bit? Okay.
He was just floating in
Oh,
the air there.
yeah, that is definitely glidey. You know, we like to claim that games they feel a bit glidey as you go. So like you
Mm,
feel like you're gliding in the air rather than actually moving through the air.
yeah.
That's
What?
kind of how they look.
What the
What?
fuck?
Obviously, this is due to Twitter compression that it doesn't look so good, so I can't give a full understanding of how graphical it will be.
It's a bit shit that you just hold one button to block every attack.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's very
Really?
glidey. I'm very not. I'm really not happy with that. That does
Yeah.
not look good. Whee! Stab.
You're not actually like falling through the air as such. What the fuck is that?
So this is very much Bloodborne slash fucking From Software gaming. You can't even tell me I'm wrong with that thing, whatever the fuck that is. That was his groin, sir.
Yep.
Fire
He-
pipe. I think they call that a flamethrower.
What?
Yeah.
So why did that thing combust? Was it not just a
I
bit of wood?
no, it was
Should've-
Red Barrel.
Okay.
This,
I don't get why there's guns in this, man.
yeah.
Does not feel like a game that should have guns in it.
No, 1868. I mean,
The dude is
there
dead, but the
were.
horse is perfectly fine.
Oh yeah, them horses as well. They just stood there like, yeah, whatever. How many games have we seen now where horses run away if there's like combat near them or anything like that?
It's not like Skyrim, how the horse tries to fucking take on a dragon.
Well, yeah, true.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, this isn't the type of game that I'd say is my thing. I've got
I,
to be
just-
honest.
it just does not even because of the year it's in. It just the way they have the game look, it's like it's meant to be like all about swords,
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, bro's just blasting a 6-shooter and whipping out a flamethrower.
don't worry, Will. We have our own game that's coming out just about the same time. Ironically, also a PlayStation exclusive game. You know, Ghost of Tsushima. I think this will do because if we actually look at that, let's see, the horse actually moves correctly, and so does the guy.
I do not like everything flowing in the wind. It's really off-putting.
Does the climbing look reasonable to you, Will? The walking, the moving. Does he look a lot less floaty?
I'm not seeing a 6-shooter, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely no 6 shooters here.
Again, looks like a game that's like all about swords.
Yeah,
You
there's
know,
some bow and arrow bits, archery.
that's sort of that kind of time. You know,
Yeah,
like
and
why would you bother with a sword if there's people with guns?
exactly. Like, here you are. Just this looks reasonable. How are we
You're
going
not
backwards?
you're not just floating.
Yeah. How are they going backwards? And not just that, the graphical, like, just generally, how it looks, a lot better.
Yeah.
But there we go. We are moving forward. I just realised none of that showed up on the video, but oh well.
Uh,
I always forget I need to, like, turn off the edge capture.
people will be very confused there.
Yeah, oh well. I'll just grab the clip and move it over, it's fine. On the flip side, you have people defending Rise of the Ronin and telling you there's nothing wrong with it.
Mm, I think that's
It's
true as well.
it's perfect. It looks like every other PS5 game. I am proud to call this game cutting edge. They're wrong too. Worse, they're lying. Even they don't believe this slightly goofy animation looks as good as The Last of Us Part 2. I don't think
I
that game looks good at all.
think that's maybe
Yeah. I understand why they're doing it. They don't care much about moment to moment graphics, don't feel a suboptimal animation ruins the experience, and are aware of the problems that come with chasing graphical realism. That's actually where I'd say you're wrong, Stacey. You see, the reason why a lot of these people do this is because they're Sony fans and they want to support Sony in any way they can, which includes lying about the quality of the game that's releasing. So even if it looks abysmal to everyone out there, they'll still claim it's the greatest thing that's come out in the last so and so years. We know this because it happens every year.
I
They
mean,
Go on,
we
sorry.
sort of know what to expect at this point when it comes to this
Yeah,
sort of stuff. Let's be honest.
just a tad. They understand that it's a choice to either have games look indistinguishable from reality and be technical marvels, but take a decade to make, or have games like Rise of Ronin in less than half that time. I think the choice there is easy, but I also recognize that it is a choice and not a cake I can both have and eat. All right, this is actually longer than I thought it was. Okay, it's basically Rise of the Ronin or nothing. I want shorter games with worse graphics made by people who are paid more to work less, and I'm not kidding. That's the phrase. What?
I don't
Why
know.
would I want shorter games with worse graphics?
You want a game that you can sink your teeth into and have to spend like hours before you can get even a part of the way through the game.
Yeah,
You know, with especially with the price tags they're coming out with, you want to get your money's worth out of a game.
yeah. I mean, they're saying here, made by people who are paid more to work less. I'm not
It
being
just
funny.
seems idiotic.
I'm not going to be funny here, and this may sound harsh, but this is genuinely like my viewpoint on this sort of stuff. If you are wanting a higher paid job and to work less, either open your own company or you're going to have to progress a lot further in your field. Because we all have this exact thought. We want to be paid higher and work less. Tell me someone who doesn't think like that.
Yeah.
Everyone wants it. It's as simple as that. But to get that, we have to either work harder or open his own business. There are choices. Or invest, or get lucky on the lottery, so on and so forth. It There's
Most of
no
it's just
quick
getting
path.
lucky.
Yeah, there is no quick path to this. And we can't just keep going, yeah, they deserve more money, because at the end of the day, don't most people for the jobs they work? Not to be funny, but how about the people who, you know, run the website that you're running, or the technicians that make sure the website's up and running, looking as good as it is for you, making sure that your adverts are working? Do they deserve more money? Or is it just the people that you think? What about the people that get you your food from Deliveroo or Just Eat or Uber Eats or whatever? What about the people who sell you your food in the shop?
Or
Don't
the
they
people
deserve it?
that acquire the food from the get from scratch and send it to those businesses that you buy the food from.
Exactly. This is the thing. There is not a single person out there that doesn't deserve this. But without the work being put in, you can't get that. And that is just the sad truth of it. We all want to think, yes, it can happen to us any day. But without that time and effort put in, it won't. And they're putting in a lot of time and effort. I fully see that. But it's about what strives they make next. Yes, the games they make are phenomenal, and I am so happy that they're part of them teams that make such amazing games. But it's about what they do, and this is more of a careers thing than it is about the industry, to be brutally honest with you. I mean, hey, Look at the people who made Five Nights at Freddy's or Undertale or many more games like that. Single devs. Same with Stardew. Single developer. Made a lot of cash from it. Were able to continue, and now they can make these games. They can take as long as they want, and they can build it with the love and care that it deserves. It's all about the time you use, how you use it, and what you do with it. So,
And just looking at it as you just work, 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 and then you output money. It doesn't work like that
no.
because, as we've seen with these AAA games or quadruple A games that have who knows how many people in a team working on them, probably putting who knows how many hours in, and with even the amount of work going into that, and it's still outputting. Let's be honest, a pile of steaming shit.
Yes.
I'll not even be nice about it. They have been awful. But then, as you said about these single person developers, and they're sitting there taking the time and effort. They're putting in loads of time, but they're not just putting time in. They're taking some of that time to think about what to do, refine it down to it's exactly how they want it to be, putting the love and care in that's needed, and making the game exactly what they want it to be, exactly what it needs to be.
Yeah. And as I said, I'm not trying to take away from anyone's work, time, or effort that they put into these games because I'm sure it is a lot of time. But I genuinely think a lot of these industries are starting to destroy the love and care that they have for the industry and for the games they're making. And that's sad. So, yeah, I do believe that people should be paid more and they should have to work less. Sadly, that is not the way of the world. And as much as you may scream, shout about it, that's not how it's going to happen. The only way things happen like this is change. And change has to be made by the people in question. Anyways, we'll move away from that before we go into any more career talk.
Hmm.
It's not I want games to be as long as they are now with the same graphics they have now, but also make them quicker and pay people more. It's a trade off. Games like Rise of the Ronin are crucial to the industry ecosystem. I haven't played it, so I can't speak to whether it's good. But the trailers and the previews have me intrigued, and there's nothing in the recently posted clips that puts me off. I don't think the animation looks good. I just don't care that it doesn't when the rest of the game does. That's fair. Obviously, it was not the best slice of marketing to show us questionable parts of the game that invited this reaction. PlayStation is asking its followers to judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, but at the same time, Ronin is leaning into a more gamified approach to the movement that values speed and action over realism. It looks a bit like the middle Assassin's Creed games, post Ezio but pre open world, at least through nostalgia goggles, and we have no problem with them at the time, but now consider it to be beneath us. The fuck do you mean? I still consider Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations to be my favourite Assassin's Creed games. I love the Ezio saga. I will still go back and play them, and those mechanics are challenging to play nowadays. I
Yeah,
don't care.
they're comparing this to games that were doing this stuff when this kind of stuff only came out, when these were new mechanics and new graphics that, well, I mean, it's always new graphics, they're always trying to upgrade.
Yeah,
And that stuff compared to what there is now is kind of ancient. We would expect like petty things like animations to not be as poor as they are.
yeah, 100%.
And you gotta think like they're saying about this is what they showcase of the game. Surely someone had to watch over this and be like, that just doesn't look great. Do we not have anything else?
Yeah. No,
So it
don't
sort of
get.
makes you wonder what if this is what they're showing as what they want, because you would show the best parts of a game in a trailer.
Oh,
It's,
100%.
it's how it's how you get people intrigued. They do the same with the films. You see all the good bits of the films, and then you sort of sit and wonder yourself: is there any point going to watch the film anymore?
9 out of 10 times
So
nowadays.
if they're showcasing the best things, and that's what is the best things, what's going to be the condition of the rest of the game?
Exactly.
You've
Now,
got to wonder, like, is it going to be as poor quality, and like, are you going to go run around like they're showing bits that have been made to look good, and you're going to go
yep,
run around? There's going to be an empty world in between places. You're just going to be running at an errand from one place to another, like most open world games have been releasing.
exactly. Now, I do feel the need to say this. Me and Will have discussed many a times. Graphics do not make a game.
They can be really good,
Yeah,
and it's really pleasing to look at, and that's always awesome.
but
But
you don't need
they
them.
are not the game.
No, we stand by that. What we're trying to more point out in this instance is less graphics make the game, but these are large mechanics. You can genuinely do the game without these mechanics being there. That's not a problem. But you need to make sure that it fits the style and the rest of your game. And that didn't. It was
Just fucking
missing
whipping out a
entirely.
6-shooter, dude.
Oh, yeah. But that's the thing. If you are missing giant components and it looks like, oh yeah, this was actually supposed to be in the game, you can tell because it looks like it's supposed to be, but then you just don't add it, don't use it, it's not there at all, there's not even a thought about it. You kind of sit there going, well, what's the point? Why is that there? It just doesn't look very good. But hey. How real do you want it? Let's see. It's reasonable for players who were sold an expensive new console based on its graphical power to take issue with games that don't maximize its potential. Excuse me, I sat and played Terraria and Minecraft as the first games I played on my PC game, on my gaming PC. So graphics do not make it.
Cut out for me there. I don't know what you said.
I said I sat and played fucking Terraria and Minecraft as the first games I played on my gaming PC. So I don't know what the fuck they're on about.
No.
But it's also unreasonable to expect every game to be made on the bleeding edge and still expect a regular flow of affordable titles. Just look at this year. Aside from Ronin and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Sony currently has no confirmed first-party titles because they take so long to make. You can't have it both ways. Then don't. Third-party title studios seem to be doing absolutely amazing. Give them
Clearly.
the time to make the games. Simple as that.
Just compare the last 6 months, man.
Yeah,
Of supposed big releases. Compare them to all these indie games and smaller teams developing games. I just
exactly.
compare how the performance has been between them.
Exactly that, mate. My colleague Tessa Kerr recently wrote about this phenomenon in Dragon's Dogma 2, where the cooking animations are real life video recordings rather than graphical renders. That points to an admission that photorealism has hit a ceiling and has become too expensive, and we may see other studios cease the relentless march to catch up with the budget and manpower of the Fat Last of Us to instead create something with a more unique, timeless, and considerably cheaper art style. Rise of the Ronin looks fine, not outstanding, not embarrassing, fine. We might need to get used to games looking that way, just fine if we want to actually play them more than once every 8 years. Realism is not the only direction of gaming to take, that, and if that's all you want, you won't get many games at all. Just, right, I'm going to go back to, I think it was last year. You may remember I spoke about a game back then. Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Hi-Fi Rush. It's one of those games that was shadow released. We rarely get them nowadays. It's not something that comes along very often at all. But a shadow release just comes from nowhere. It's there and announced the same day. That's how that happened. and it was an amazing release. To this day, I'm still genuinely impressed by that game. Doesn't seem like it took them an extreme length of time to make, but goddamn, did they do well with it. And honestly, I'm still physically impressed by it.
I still see clips from it here and there as well.
Exactly. That game is nowhere near their regular art style. It was a really animated art style. The world felt like it was living and breathing. Wasn't realistic in the slightest.
No,
But
nothing about it was realistic.
Exactly. What they're struggling to understand nowadays is if you do not make your game to be realistic, that is fine. Just don't go round going, oh, well, we're doing a game like this, so that means we need this, and this, and have like 4 out of 5 realistic mechanics. Because then everyone's going to be questioning why the 5th mechanic isn't there to make it actually work.
Yeah, like they're acting like there's only one style of game that exists.
Exactly.
And there just isn't. Like there's so many versions, well not versions, styles of games you can make. Like look at how different some games are. Like if you look at Minecraft or Stardew, stuff like that, where you're looking at pixels.
Yeah.
Now technically yes, everything you look at is pixels, but there's a lot less of them in those games
Yeah.
because they don't care about the graphics. Well, it's not that they don't care, but like they're not. They don't need to be realistic looking. You know, I don't
No.
need to look at it at my monitor and determine whether I'm looking at the wall behind my monitor or a wall on my monitor.
Exactly. I mean, Stardew as well, in my opinion, even though it's a pixel art style, they've done really well with it. It looks nice. It is nice to look at. It's not.
Speaking of Stardew, the update releases on Tuesday, 2 days.
Oh, very nice. So Stardew's update released on Tuesday. A game I love to play called RimWorld. I think I've told you about before.
Sounds familiar.
Well, that's had a big update announced, which means they're bringing out another DLC called Anomaly. I'd recommend checking it out if people want to. It's an amazing game. But that comes out next month along with the 1.5 update. So yeah, we've had some weird ones to announce this week. But yeah, that's that. Thankfully, is all I've got for the week. Oh, and actually, last little bit. Steam's spring sales on. There we go. That should pretty much cover everything. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
Just the Stardew.
Go for it.
No, the update. That's what I'm saying. Just the
Oh,
update for Stardew.
cool. Right then. If that's everything, then we'll call the episode here. So, thank you all for watching.
If you again.
That's about right. I said I'll call the episode here.
Sounds good to me, brother.
Sounds good. Right. Thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed, feel free to leave a like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we will see you all next time. Bye for now, guys.
Have a good one, guys.